time for the Creator Town Hall here on Studio Live today, brought to you by our wonderful friends at BandLab. Yeah, if you haven't checked out BandLab, we'll be looking at it live on this show. Well, live to tape. More on that in a moment. And we're going to be learning how to play some cover songs, and then we're going to be recording them using multi-track recording in BandLab. Yeah, can you believe that a DAW that you can use in your browser on your Mac or your PC or your Chromebook or anything, even your iPhone, your iPad, and your Chrome device, Android device, you can multi-track it, and it's really cool. So I'm going to be using my Scarlett 202 interface, plugging in a guitar and a microphone. That's what's behind my head there and down there, and that's why we've got a little bit of extra gear in the setup here today. But welcome, everybody, whether you're watching this on the premiere and you're here in the chat, and I'm probably there too, or you're watching it on the replay. Either way, I hope you're having a good time. And like I said, that feature topic today will be about cover songs. And guess what? I'm going to learn a classic cover song to play on my happy hour show this weekend. I'm not going to reveal what it is until later in the show. We call that a tease in the biz. But let's crack on and talk about a few topics before we get started here. And I wanted to, because it is August now, officially August everywhere around the world, I wanted to talk about something called Songtember. Now, what is Songtember? Songtember is a song in a month challenge that we run here on Studio Live today. We've been doing it for the last 3 years. This is the 4th annual Songtember. And it just is an opportunity for everyone, for me and for you, to create, record, and release one song all in the month of September. So it all kicks off on the 1st of September. In fact, it kicks off before that. We've got a live launch party. If I've done my SEO correctly, and if I search Pete John's Songtember 2022, it should actually pop up here. Yeah, let's share. I'll share my screen, and you'll be able to see what's going on. There it is. I'll put a link to it down in the description as well. So if you're watching, you can check this one out, or just do what I did there. Pete John's Songtember 2022, and that is going to be our launch party. It's happening on the 31st of August here in Australia. Might be the 30th of August in the evening for some folks in different parts of the world, but set yourself a reminder for that one right now and jump on over to make sure that you don't miss out on that. So why do I do Songtember? For me, when I first started recording music and creating music, there was a real barrier there. There was a real gap where I would do a lot of noodling, I would record some ideas, I would get parts of songs done, but I didn't seem to have the motivation or the energy or the ability to get a song done end to end, finish it, and then release it. So that's what I wanted to do here. And look, if releasing sounds scary, it doesn't have to be. Releasing could just mean finishing. Like I want to be clear on that. If you're releasing a song, it just means getting it done and getting it finished, because sometimes we get 80%, 90%, 99% done, but unless you're actually sharing it or sort of tying a bow on it and just going, right, now it's done, it can kind of live with you forever. Hands up, who's like that? Who's got 27 different projects that are all partially done? Some are 20%, some are 50%, some are 90%, but they're just not quite done. Well, yeah, I was suffering from that. So I thought, what's a good way around this? Well, it's to do exactly this, to make sure that we have a platform and that we share it. The second thing that's really cool about Songtember is the community aspect. So we share, there's a Facebook group and a brand new Discord server that I'll talk about in just a moment that you can join. And you can actually share all of your information. You can share with the wider Studio Live Today community, and it just gives you an opportunity to just lean on other people to make sure that you're not alone in this. You're not alone in the world of creating music, and that's one of the hardest things. When we're all in here in our audio caves in our home studios, sometimes you get creating and you're like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I don't know if I'm mixing right. I don't know if I'm mastering right. Who can help me? We can help you. So join in. Hashtag Songtember. When you're sharing your stuff, just put that hashtag Songtember on all your things and you can join in. And as I mentioned, we do have a Facebook group. So the Facebook group is called Create, Record, Release, and we have a Discord server. Now I'm not going to open Discord. I was going to do it here on my Mac. I'm not going to open it because one thing Discord does is it sort of sets your audio settings. And a couple of times I've loaded Discord, and when I've been doing a show like this or a live stream, it's messed with my audio. So there's one thing that I wish Discord would do a little bit better, which is that audio management. But hey, it's probably me. Maybe it's not me. Maybe it's not them, it's me. But there's a couple of ways to get involved. Number one is to go over to the Create, Record, Release Facebook group. And in fact, over there right now, I've got an invitation there to join the Discord. But both of those, both the Create, Record, Release Facebook group and the Discord server, will be linked down in the description. Now, while we're talking about that, let's talk briefly about Discord. What is it? Because I didn't know. I hadn't heard of it. I'm like, Discord? What is a Discord? So Discord is an online sharing platform. It's a bit, if you've used Facebook, it's a bit like Facebook groups. If you've been to online forums, it's a bit like the old online forum style. It's like a moment in time. You have a bunch of servers, so you can create your own server, you can join other servers, and then under each server is a bunch of channels. And so for us here on Studio Live today, and if you jump over, you can take a look. We've got a bunch of different channels. There's a general discussion channel. There's a music sharing channel. There's a mixed feedback channel. There's, of course, a Songtember channel, because we're about to kick off with that. And there's even voice and video chat. So there's a whole bunch of ways. And the reason why it's better than some other forums and some other platforms, in my humble opinion, and that I'm really getting behind it, is it's not really advertiser focused. So you're not getting ads in your feed. You're not getting disruptions. The algorithm isn't changing the order of things. It's not hiding some posts and showing some others. So in terms of having a community like this and having a group of people creating music, it helps bring everyone together, and everyone kind of gets an even balance and a fair shake. So for me, that's working well. And look, there are ways to monetize. You're thinking, why is this all free? How come Facebook has ads on it and Discord doesn't? Well, Discord kind of has their premium features. So you can join Discord Nitro and you get a bunch of premium features. There's other monetization options in there. But the cool thing is that for those of us that just want a full-featured platform for sharing text, sharing audio, sharing video, and having those interactive conversations segmented into different sections, Discord's where it's at. And you can learn more about Discord. It has a slightly steeper learning curve, but I'm starting to get my head around it now, and it's coming along. All right, I'm going to have a quick drink. We're going to talk about another couple of topics, and then I promise we are going to jump in and do some practical stuff, because today's episode is all about learning cover songs, but also recording them. Because I'm going to do something I've not done before, and that's record guitar and vocal at the same time, directly into BandLab in my browser. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. And yes, we are live to tape. You'd think, Pete, why aren't you editing out your drinks? No, we're doing it live. We're going straight live to tape, so no edits at all. I want to talk about something. Pull up a chair. Grab a knee, pull up a chair. We want to talk about stream teams. All right. What is a stream team, Johns? So I get a lot of emails from people. I get a lot of Facebook group posts. I get a lot of direct messages. And a lot of them are scams. A lot of them are rubbish. A lot of them are garbage. And a lot of them are using what Spotify and other places call artificial streams. Now, if you're a creator, you're an independent creator, I get it. You want your music heard. You want to see those streaming numbers. You don't want to look at your stats and you're like, oh no, 3 people streamed my new single, my new album, and it was like mum, grandma, and cousin Rog. You don't want that. You want to be able to get your music out to people. So what happens is that folks find ways to work around the system, so to speak. And Stream Teams is one of them. It's kind of the not quite as bad cousin of some of those artificial streaming services. So if you've ever had something in your inbox that is like, oh, just pay me $30 and you'll get 2,000 streams on Spotify, yeah, they're artificial streams. They're either being generated by bots, which are robots, which are automated things that stream your music and then push the numbers up, or very poorly paid people in third world countries. So either way, that's not good. It's not actually getting your music out there to anyone. And worse than that, it has some pretty serious consequences. So Spotify have a really good video, which is linked down in the description, all about artificial streams. And of course, the comment section is full of people saying, yeah, bro, why you got to pick on us little ones? Why are you getting in bed with the recording artists? Once again, I get it. I understand. I know. It is hard when you look at this sort of stuff and you go, why are there different rules for the publishing companies and the recording companies and the big recording artists than there are for the little guys, us independent folks? Reality and money. That's it. Capitalism. Unfortunately, we live, unfortunately or fortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, we live in a capitalist society. And that does mean that money talks. And sometimes talent talks too, but you got to have a lot of talent and you got to work hard. So I don't mean for this to be super discouraging, but let's get back to stream teams. Why are stream teams bad and why should you avoid them like the plague? Well, For the same reason that I rant about sub for sub, like for like, follow for follow culture. It seems okay on the surface. You're like, why wouldn't I do that? If me and 100 people and we're all passionate about our YouTube channels, why wouldn't we subscribe to each other? Isn't that doing the right thing? Yeah, as long as you genuinely are interested in that person and their content. Sure. Yeah, sometimes, do you subscribe to a friend just to make them feel better and give them a number? Sure, sometimes. But stream teams take that to the next level. They do a very similar thing, but with streaming. And some of the rules in some of these stream teams are actually hilarious. In fact, I took a screenshot of one, which I've got on my phone here, and I'm not going to mention names, and I'm not going to call anyone out here. But some of these stream teams that they've developed are like highly sophisticated. They've got like websites, they've got tracking things, because the crux of it is, what you do see is you join a stream team and say there's 20 people. Sometimes there's more, there's usually lots more. Say there's 20 people in the stream team. What you're going to do is you're going to 24/7, just on a device, on your laptop or on your iPhone or on your computer, you're streaming other people's music. Why is that good? Well, that's going to give them streams and therefore they can make revenue and get paid royalties. So you're going to stream artist 1 for an hour, and then you're going to stream artist 2 for an hour. You're going to make sure you don't mute them. You're going to make sure you log them. You're going to make sure that it's in an active window, and you're going to make sure you click on things occasionally to make it look like you're a real human. It's work. But in return, other people in the stream team, they're going to do the same for you. And then you're going to get lots of streams. And then Spotify's algorithms are going to identify that, and at best, they're going to remove those streams and cut off your revenue, and at worst, they're going to kick you off the platform and never allow you to release music again. That might sound a bit harsh. About 2 years ago, that happened to a whole bunch of people, both through things like this, through artificial streams, through stream teams, as well as through those paid services that create artificial streams, through bots or through very underpaid workers. So, yeah, something like this looks good on the surface. It's a bit like a pyramid scheme. It looks okay or a Ponzi scheme. It looks okay on the surface until you dig down and you realize that, yeah, it's not sustainable, and it goes against the terms and conditions and the terms of service of pretty much every platform. So if you release through DistroKid, link in the description, save yourself 7% off. If you release through DistroKid, if you're creating music on BandLab, which I suggest you do, and then you're releasing your music, yeah, that's a good thing to do. But if does DistroKid detect that you're doing this sort of stuff, you could be in trouble with them, with your distributor, because they don't want to get in this hot water at all. But more likely, it's Apple Music, it's YouTube Music, it's Spotify, it's Amazon, when they detect this stuff, because they are the ones paying out the royalties. And you better believe it, even though you could say, well, multi-billion dollar companies, why are they picking on the little guys again? You better believe that they don't want to pay out for artificial streams. And again, it doesn't make it a level playing field. Some people might say, well, if we do this, it brings us up closer to a level playing field with people who do have the means, who do have a record company or a label backing them. But yeah, it means that anyone that's just trying to do the right thing can kind of fall away. So, you know what? You do you. But I just wanted to make sure that folks out there, that you knew the risks of this sort of thing, that it can have consequences. And my inbox is full of people emailing me saying, I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. Well, guess what? Ignorance is not a defense. I know none of us read those terms and conditions. None of us read all the terms of service of everything we use. You can make mistakes. My job here, as I see it, is to help you understand the risks so that when you make a grown-up adult decision, you know what you're in for. And if it happens, yeah, you can come crying to me, but I'm probably going to say I told you so. Let's look at some of these rules. It was pretty funny. So what are you going to do for the stream team rules for this one? You're going to like the playlist and all the songs. Hang on. Like the playlist and all the songs. You've got to follow all artists in the playlist. So everyone's got to follow everyone else. There's that sub for sub culture. By the way, why don't I like sub for sub? If you subscribe to, say you're a YouTuber and you're starting out, if you get 100 people subscribing to you and you use sub for sub, and you're all subscribed to each other, but no one's watching your channels, the YouTube algorithm's going to say, this person has 100 subscribers, yet only 4 people are watching their videos. Let's not recommend them to anyone ever. So the engagement level and your view to subscriber ratio will affect how many people that goes out to, and therefore how successful you are. Anyway, that's the short version. You've got to send stats in before adding songs to the playlist. You've got to stream the playlist once daily. So yeah, the way this one's working is it's set up a playlist with all the artists in it, and you stream that playlist. Guess what? That's making it even easier for the algorithm to detect it. Because if they see 100 people all streaming this one playlist, all exactly the same, all every day, who does that? what human? I mean, you might have your favorite playlist, but as soon as they identify that 100 people, yeah, okay. Oh, and look, the IP addresses of these people all link together. It's not hard. It's not hard to do. You've got to send stats using their website. If you miss one day, you need to cover it the next day. So what, you stream the playlist twice. You don't mute during streaming because that can affect the royalties being paid. And yeah, you can send a private message to this community member to do that. And again, you know what? Ingenuity. Sometimes people try these things, and I don't begrudge you for trying it. But we've already worked out that it doesn't work. It's a bit like cryptocurrency and NFTs. There's got to be losers in this stuff. And the people sort of starting these things are generally not doing it out of the goodness of their heart. They're trying to either promote their music, or they're trying to build up a platform or a community that they can then market other things to. So it's no surprise that a lot of the folks that are into stream teams are also into the artificial streaming services. They're also into crypto and NFT. And I know not every crypto and NFT thing is a scam. But the problem is that when it's like the stock market only succeeds and can only be good and have multiple winners because they pay out dividends because they're actually creating a product or a service. If you have something like an NFT or like cryptocurrency, it doesn't actually create value. So if you have 1,000 units at $1 and they go up to $2, well, that's only because some people are losing. That's because some investors are losing and they've sold off at 50 cents because they went down. So for anything to go up, something must go down. It's like the old Newton's law. Is it law of relativity? I don't know. I failed physics badly. That's why I became a musician. Let's talk about one more thing, one more topic here. But yeah, do let me know. Let me know in the comments what you think. And have you ever joined a stream team? And will you, after all of Old Man John's rantings, will you still join one? And why? Are you willing to take the risk? Are they actually okay? Are they actually a good thing? I don't know. Let's talk about Mac versus iOS. I've had this question a few times in the last couple of weeks. And look, I know some people would say, no PC, no Android. And I know, look, you can use what you use. And my default answer to this and all these sort of questions is basically that, is whatever works for you. And I see forums on Facebook and other forums and probably on the Discords now and everywhere from people saying, oh, no, you got to use this. If you don't use this, you're crazy because this is the best. Unfortunately, when it comes to especially software and hardware and pretty much anything in life, the best is always subjective. Almost always subjective. It's very rare. Like the best sprinter of all time is probably Usain Bolt because he ran the 100 meters faster than anyone else. That's probably about the only area where something can be non-subjective, where you've got 100% measurable thing. You know what you can't measure? Whether a platform or whether a digital audio workstation will work for you. And you know, our sponsors, BandLab. I love BandLab, and I've been using BandLab, and we'll be playing with it later in the show. We've got it all here ready to go. I find that it works well for my workflow because it's quite similar to GarageBand. It has a very friendly, colorful user interface. I like that. I go away and try and use something like Pro Tools or something like, or what's the one with all the buttons, Ableton. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't. But some people create amazing music in Pro Tools and Ableton. You can't argue with that. So when it comes to Mac versus iOS, it's a really tough one because they're getting closer and closer together. So a lot of folks have been asking, hey, I'm recording on my iPad now. I want to upgrade it. Do I go like souped up iPad Pro way, or do I go and get myself a MacBook or a Mac Mini or something like that? Now, I decided to go both, but I know not everyone has the luxury to do both. It all comes down to budget and what you actually want to do. So yes, what Mac has, the advantages Mac has over iOS is that you have a screen and a keyboard and a mouse, and a lot of the interfaces you have are not touch based because Mac doesn't do touch. So if you are more at home with a mouse and a keyboard and that's how you create, then you are going to be more at home. However, iPads now have mice and keyboards and smart keyboards and all that support as well. So you can still have the best of both worlds with an iPad. Also, you also get that portability. So you can have an iPad or an iPhone, and you can, most platforms let you create in both of those. So you can take it anywhere and plug it in anywhere. You can now, you do need a few more dongles to adapt things. So unlike a Mac that's going to be able to plug directly into via USB most of the time, you're going to need something like a powered USB hub for an iPad generally. If you're using an older iPad, you'll need the Lightning to USB 3 adapter from Apple to make sure that you can plug in your USB microphones, audio interfaces, MIDI keyboards, etc. And yeah, you are generally going to pay a bit more for a Mac over an iOS device. The thing is, the software is quite different. So if you are the biggest learning curve that folks have, and that I'm currently going through right now, because I'm using more desktop software, and I started on desktop, and then I went to iOS, loved it, love GarageBand, like Cubasis and Oreo Pro, but love GarageBand, and then came back to using a mouse and keyboard, and I'm finding it kind of clunky. So yeah, I guess I'm saying that if you can, do both. But it all comes back to you and your personal preferences. If you love the touchscreen, if you love manipulating things and moving things with your finger, you'll want to go iOS. If you're more comfortable with a mouse and keyboard, maybe you want to go Mac. And also remember that the cool thing about the M1 Mac is it will run some iPad and iPhone apps. And in particular, what I love is LumaFusion, which is a video editor that I use. I use it to edit all the videos that you see here on the channel. I use mostly on my phone. So I have LumaFusion here on my phone. If you've watched a video, there it is. There's the last video I recorded. There's the editing of that most recent GarageBand video. So I edit on my phone, and you can edit on the iPad. But the cool thing is that sorry, I got distracted there. I got distracted by my LumaFusion. The cool thing is that you can then use it on Mac, so you can use it on the M1 Mac as well as your iPad and iPhone. So that makes it a very cool app. So yeah, it's a slippery slope. Why not? Why not join the Discord? Maybe we need a Mac versus iOS Discord channel over on the Discord, and we can talk about it in depth and cover it in more detail. All right, that's our topics, because I wanted to leave a big chunk of time to talk about today's feature topic, which is how do I learn cover songs? So we're going to take a bit of a dive behind the scenes of my upcoming happy hour. So this weekend, for those watching this as it's released, or sometime in the past, I'm doing a 90s covers happy hour. The happy hour is the show I do each week where I play usually 10 to 12 songs from a particular genre, era, theme, randomness. Sometimes I do just a roulette wheel of random songs, and we play them and we have a good time and we hang out, and it's fun. So yeah, tune into the happy hour. I'll link it down in the description so that you can tune in to the show or catch the replay if you're in the future. So what I need to do every week is, what I try to do in fact, is learn some new cover songs. So I have a repertoire of a lot of songs, and I'm going to take you into the document. I use OneNote just because I used to be a I used to be a PC guy. I used to be a Microsoft person. So I have a OneNote document, and I have my master list, and then I have all my theme lists that I've been doing with the happy hour over all of these years. So let's jump over here. This is my list of songs, and you can see here that I've got a huge master list of a bunch of songs. These are all the different cover songs that I've played over the last 2.5 years here on the happy hour here on the channel. So there's a bunch of them there, and then each week I put together the playlist. So I put together so we did the 60s, the 70s and 80s, the last 90s show that I did there. So every week I put together a new playlist of songs. And what we're doing now, you can see a bit of a sneak peek here of some of the songs that that I'm considering for this week's happy hour, including this one. And this is the one that I thought it might be fun for us to try recording a little bit of a multi-track recording over in BandLab, which I'm doing for the first time. So I've already done the bit here, the behind the scenes bit, by bringing it over here, but I'm going to show you how I go about this, and we're going to take the journey. You're going to take a journey with me here today, and to take that journey, guess what we need? We need a guitar. Nearly knocked over the microphone. And we will be using that microphone in a moment, but we're going to grab the guitar for now. I'll just take that off there so you can see a little more of the guitar there. Now, it's not plugged into my mixer here because I've actually plugged it in over there to my Steinberg my Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 audio interface. And because I don't have a separate camera over there, what I'm going to do is let's go to my gear guide. It's studiolivetoday.com/gear. Yes, you can go there too. It's got all of my gear over there, studiolivetoday.com/gear, and you can check out all the gear that I use. But the one I'm going to be using here, if we scroll down to audio interfaces, is this sucker. Now, I've got the Gen 2. They have now the Gen 3 version of this, but this is the Scarlett 2i2. Mine looks very similar to this. So what I have is I have an XLR cable from my microphone plugged into that input there. I then also have a guitar cable plugged out of my guitar into that input there, and I've set my gain basically around about the middle. So we might need to play with the gain as we start recording, which we're going to do over here in BandLab. So we've got BandLab here ready to go as well. So we will start recording that in a moment. But first, let's show you how I go about this. So I start searching through. I look on the web and I'm like, what are some popular 90s songs? What should I consider playing on this week's happy hour? And I go, all right, let's see what we got. We'll come in here and we'll go 4 non-blondes in a little platform called Ultimate Guitar. If you've not played around with Ultimate Guitar, it's ultimate-guitar.com. You log in, you sign up, you log in, it's free, and then you can actually get access to a whole bunch of stuff. So I've searched 4 non-blondes there. You can see I've already got it in my favorites, but if we go search, it'll bring up 4 non-blondes, and this is their song, What's Up. Now, there's different versions, because this is user-generated content. So let's just zoom in a little bit there so we can see it a little bit better. So this is user-generated content. So that was the very first one that was done. 1,075 people have rated it, and it's got basically a 5-star rating. Here's a second version. Oh, 13,000 people have rated it. 5 stars. Here's a third version, fourth version. So generally what I'll do is I'll look at the most popular version. Yeah, I'm sorry, it is a popularity contest. So we look at that version, and it'll give you the chords and the lyrics for this song. Now, in this case, it's saying, yep, it's a capo on the 2, so on the 2nd fret, and there's the intro. And tab is not relative to the capo. So yeah, so you can start playing, and that's like the intro there. I tend to just come down here because I don't play a lot of lead stuff when I'm doing a song. So I would just go like 25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for the destination. And the reason that I start playing it here before I move it over into my OneNote document and the system I actually use is to make sure that the key's right, because we need to make sure that we're going to play it in a key that we can actually sing in. And Ultimate Guitar actually has a really cool tool for that, which I'm going to show you now after a drink. So the hard thing about this song is that when we get to the part down here, it goes up an octave. So it goes, and so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out, what's in my head, and so I'm thinking, is that at my range? Like, yeah, okay. What's the trade-off here? What if we transpose it? So what you can do, we can use this transpose buttons down the bottom here. So if I click on this one, what it'll do is it takes it down. So if I want to take it down a tone, I could say, what if I play this down here in F? 25 years now, my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope. See, I'm not going to play it in that key because I hate the B bar chords. I hate those B-shaped bar chords. So I probably wouldn't do it in that key. But maybe I need to go down even further. Maybe we bring it down here into E. And then we're like, 25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I actually don't mind that, because then when I get, and so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out, that might be a better key. Why don't we try this? Why don't we do this at 3 down? Now I'm 5 semitones, because I'm not got no capo on here, so I'm 5 semitones lower. If you're not a guitarist, and if you're not a musician, don't worry. All I'm doing here is saying, is this song too high for me to sing in its current form? And if it is, I can automatically, by doing this, it'll adjust all of these chords from the G down to the E, from the A minor to an F sharp minor, from the C to an A. So it does all of that transposition for me. So what I might do is, let's again for the lols and for the content, let's copy, because this is how I do this. Now, Ultimate Guitar would love you to just do this, like play this right in Ultimate Guitar, and you can do it. So I've just used Command C to copy that. You can do it. It's even got an auto scroll here that you can change the speed of the auto scroll by using your plus and your minus. You can make it faster and you can make it slower, but I just find that a little bit clunky. I like to have everything all on one screen. Let's turn auto scroll off. Everything all on one screen. So what I actually do is let's load up Word here. I'll just load a blank document in Microsoft Word. The reason I load up Word is that the formatting is a bit weird, and what I do, the reason I use Word as an intermediary here is I use the Control Command V, which lets me paste in unformatted text. If I use HTML format, it puts it like this, and it's got like the background, and it doesn't work. So let's undo that, and let's instead use Control Command V and use unformatted text. So this brings in just the pure text, and Word does a good job of that. I can then go Command A or Control A if you're on PC, and Control C, and now I can bring it over into my platform, which is my OneNote document, and here's the one I prepared earlier. This is the version in the original key. What we'll do is we'll create a new page, and we'll go for non-blondes, what's up, and we'll put this in E. Oh, I put an E and it gave me the pound symbol. So we'll just go E major, just so we know the difference here of what chord we're playing. So then what I'll do is paste it in. So I can just use regular paste here because it's just going to be the same. And then work out, how do I get this on one screen? Because the thing is, what I do when I do my happy hour is I have everything on one landscape screen. Because I've got two monitors here. I've got one I'm looking at here. I've got one you can see I'm looking at over here. So I've got two monitors, and I put the live stream on one, just like I'm doing right now. And I put my details, I put my lyrics and chords on the other. So we're just going to paste these in around about the right bit. And what we can do is we can then use this as a reference when we do our multi-track recording with guitar and vocal. Paste it in the wrong spot in just a moment. So I just thought I'd take you behind the scenes of that, and that's literally how I learn every cover song. I'll then have this in here. We'll zoom it in. We'll make sure we got it, so you can tap here to make it as big as possible, and then I just play along to this. So I'd be like, 25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. Yeah, I like that key. I might be keeping that key because it's easier on my voice too. Always something to consider there. So that's all set up and ready to rock and roll. What we can now do is do a bit of a recording. Let's do a scratch recording of this over in BandLab. So if we just shimmy that one on down and bring up BandLab. Now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to bring this over. You won't be able to see it because I need it over on my other screen, and I'll let you see me set up here in BandLab. Now, a word of warning, because of the audio setup I've got here, I've got a mixer, I've got an audio interface, I've got a whole bunch of complex gear. You'll get a couple of clicks and pops every now and then. That's not BandLab. You won't get that if you're recording straight in. It's just with so many different audio devices connected and live streaming at the same time and recording. Yeah, it gets a little bit confused. So do keep that in mind as we go here. So let's set up our tracks. So here in BandLab, to record multi-tracks, all you need to do is add two tracks and set them to the right input. So we're first going to click on this track. Let's add our voice track first, so voice or audio. And there you go. It's going to give us our voice track here. Now, here's the important part. It'll pop you straight into it'll pop you straight into here to your auto pitch and your effects. But over here on the left, you can go to source, and this is where we can test to make sure that we've got the right source set up here. So I've got my Scarlett 2R2. You can see I've got a bunch of other. I could use my Zoom, but I won't choose that. I've got my virtual interfaces, but I won't use those. I'm going to use this because this is a standalone Scarlett 2R2 that's plugged in, and I'm using my my Zoom live track, this one here, to record this video. So I don't want any crossover, otherwise you're going to get some looping and it's going to go, you're going to get weird feedback. We don't want that. So we leave it Scarlett 2R2. We need to make sure that channel 1 is selected here because that's where my microphone is plugged in, as we showed before, and we can turn monitoring off and on there. So with monitoring on, we're going to hear it. So if we bring this microphone over, check, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see there that it's way too loud because it's coming through really loud, and we don't have the audio coming through. We'll turn up the audio there and check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can hear me now coming through on this microphone. As though I wait till the morning and I check out. So yeah, you can see there that it's a bit too loud. So what I'm going to do is reach over, and I've just turned down a little, like one notch I've turned down over on that the microphone, just to give us a little bit less. And now, and so I wake in the morning and I check outside. Now we're going to be a little bit more in the zone because you want that input gain on your software to be around about 50 to 75%. If that's clipping up here in the red, like you saw before, means you're too loud. The other thing we can do here is we can add some inline effects here. So we can either add individual effects by doing it that way, or we can use an FX preset. So let's use an FX preset. We'll go to vocals, and what sort of vocal do we need for this one? We want more sort of kind of rocky vocal, maybe high and bright, boosts highs for dazzling stadium vocals. Let's try this high and bright. And so I wait in the morning. That one's not too bad, but we probably want to drop the mix of that mod Space Maker just to a little bit less there. We'll leave the compressor on there. And the EQ, we probably don't want as many highs and lows. So we're basically just using that effect, but customizing it. So now, and so I wait. That's pretty good. You just got that nice little bit of delay going on there. So again, if we don't want to keep hearing that monitoring, we can turn the monitoring off there and it goes away. Now to add our guitar, because our guitar's plugged into the second input on the Scarlett 2i2, we hit the add track button here. This time we're going to go guitar. And this time we're going to hit the source button and make sure that this is set to channel 2. And now when I strum my guitar, you're going to hear it coming through finally. And the latency is pretty good. Like I said, I've got a really complex setup here, so I get a little bit of extra latency. If you're only using one audio device and you're plugging straight in, for something that runs in your browser, let's not forget that. BandLab runs in your browser, in Chrome, right here on your Mac or your PC. So it's pretty darn cool. So we've got monitoring there on for that one. So we'll close out of the guitar there. Now, you might be thinking, oh, how are you recording on 2 different channels at once? Well, there's actually an option here, and it's by default, it's disabled. So when you start setting up, you're going to see this, and you'll be like, how do I record both of these? I have to select a track, and when I hit record, it just starts recording just on that one track. What's the deal? Well, we can actually set up to record on both tracks. So to do that, we click there and we enable multi-track recording. And now we can actually select both tracks. And when we hit record, it'll start recording on both tracks. For some reason, when I'm hitting record, it's not recording now because let's zoom out and go back to the start of this track. I think I used this before and I recorded a whole bunch of stuff. So we may just have to, you know what, we're going to close right out and come back into this one. This is the joy of being live or even live to tape, is I think I just left it recording before, recording nothing to nothing. So this will just give us a chance to show you this again. So voice and audio, set up, channel 1, monitoring, check, there we are. It's monitoring on. We'll quickly do that effects thing again. We'll go to the effects presets. This is how quick you can get this stuff sort of set up once you've done this a few times. We'll come down here to the high and bright. Cha. We'll turn the mix down on the space modulator, space maker, and we'll just maybe not reduce as much of that there. So we've got that one there. Let's just make sure that recording is working this time. There you go. So that's going to record now. We'll stop that. We'll do the same thing we did before and we'll undo. So let's close that one. Let's hit the add track button and again add a guitar. And the source down the bottom here, channel 2, make sure our monitoring is on. Ready to rock and roll. We can also add effects to our guitar, which we didn't do before. So let's add the acoustic guitar effect. And you've got a cool search option here too. So if we just type in acoustic, it can bring up the acoustic guitar. And now, that could be a cool effect. I quite like it. I quite like it a lot. Again, we'll just give a little bit less on the mix there because we don't want as much. And the chorus, the same deal, just less on that effect level. Sometimes it's called mix, sometimes it's called effect level. It's just to make it a little bit more subtle because a lot of these effects, by default, are a little bit aggressive, in my opinion. So I just tone them down a bit. So we're set up, we're ready to rock and roll. Well, what I generally do now is save my project to make sure that it saves in those settings. There you go, revision saved. And let's give it a name, shall we? Let's give it a name. So what's up acoustic cover. Now the first time I record this, I'm going to record it without the metronome because I tend to not play with a metronome on when I'm doing a live show, just so I can have a little bit more expression. And this song in particular has a little slowdown bit. But we're just going to play, what we'll do is we'll play the verse and the first chorus. And then we'll pause at that, and hopefully, if I record okay, we'll get through all of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this microphone away, and turn the monitoring on this microphone. There's my source. There we go. Click. Check. 1, 2. Wow, that's loud. So we're over onto this microphone now, and we're going to get ourselves set by moving this over a bit. I do have a pop filter here as well, so I'm going to spin the pop filter. Spin the pop filter. This is going to be as awkward as it gets, but we're going to get there. We're going to win. All right. So I've got my microphone. By the way, I'm using the Audio Technica AT 2020, and I did buy a new pop filter because this one's got the droops. Happens to us all sometimes. It's fine. Oh, stay up. Might just have to rest it on top there like that. It's got a little bit of a clunky setup, but we're doing it. We're doing it live. Put that microphone down there out of the way, and the one thing that you'll notice here is that when you're recording, when you move between these two, you will only get the monitoring on whichever track you've got selected. See what I mean? So you're monitoring there, and then you'll go to the guitar, and then it's only monitoring the guitar. So then you have to go back to here to get your monitoring. And again, those little crackles that you're hearing there, that's artifacts within my setup. But the good thing is that with monitoring on both of these, when I start recording, you are actually going to hear them both come through fine and dandy, like sour candy. So what we can do is we can put on that multi-track. So again, we'll click on one channel, enable multi-track, and then put them both there. Put them both on, so that we're now recording to both tracks at the same time. And you can do this with like 4 channels or 8 channels. All comes down to the processing capability of your audio gear and your computer. So let's give this a crack, shall we? I've got my chords, I got my my lyrics up here, and we're ready to hit the record button, and it will count us in. But then I'm not going to pay any attention to that. I'm going to play as I like. So wish me luck, folks. Wrong chord already. 25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope. All right, I'm going to stop there because it's a good idea to actually, I should have said this before, it's a good idea to actually do a bit of a sound test before you commit too much, because you're going to go to a lot of effort and then you'll be like, no, that's not what I want. So we're going to zoom out there. You can see we have a problem here that we've got the, there we go. It was when it was playing back, it sounded like the guitar was quieter, but it's obviously not there because we need to play it back. I think I've probably got my monitoring not set the way I should. Let's just play a little piece of this by hitting spacebar. 25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope. So maybe it is that it's only monitoring one. Maybe it's only monitoring the one when we're actually recording, or maybe we didn't have the monitor. Maybe we didn't have the monitoring on. This is getting confusing because I've got too many microphones. Let's come back onto this mic too so you can actually hear me when I come over to here. And let's just check that we have this. Yeah, it is monitoring, so it should be coming through. But I don't think it may. It may actually be that perhaps it doesn't monitor both at the same time. What I do need to do, though, is turn the guitar down a bit and the vocals up a little bit. So I'm going to reach over and do that now. So I just gave the guitar a little twist down and the vocals a little twist up. Let's close out of this one. And this is all experimental. Again, first time I've done this, folks. So stick with me and we'll give it another crack together. So let's delete all these. So we'll tap on them. We'll tap again. Right click and delete. Right click and delete. And then come back to here. All right. Let's this time let's start with it on the guitar and see maybe the monitoring is only on the channel that you last select. And maybe we don't get our microphone now. So I'll do a test run here. I'll turn down the microphone that I'm streaming with and just record with this setup and see if that is the case. Because we'll learn something then, at least we'll know. Yeah, it seems that, okay, better balanced audio there. So it seems that despite the fact that you can have both of these here, it's only going to monitor one. Unless we can we multi-select and will that? No, I don't think it lets us multi-select. It's whichever one's active is going to be the monitoring one. So because we're using a microphone, you'll be able to hear the guitar when we're playing along anyway. It'll just be a bit quieter. So we'll do that. And don't forget, we can change the volumes afterwards. So you'll hear the guitar when we do this, but it'll be just through here. Let's see if we can now get the whole first section done here now with our verse and our chorus. 25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of man, or whatever that means. And so I cry sometime when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head, and I'm feeling a little peculiar. And I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I trip at the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? Let's stop that there. All right. So we've still got a bit too much. Come on, let's get that monitoring off, Johns. That's gonna. There we go. Let's put the guitar to the side, and let's put this microphone around behind so it doesn't fall over. Anyone else have that problem with microphone stands that get a little bit topply? So we've got stuff to work with here now. This will be something that we can definitely work with. So we've got our audio there. We've got our vocals on the first channel and our guitar on the second channel. So the cool thing here is that we can separate these out and we can balance the volume. So instantly I'm seeing maybe the guitar's too loud. Let's take a listen and see if that's the case. 5 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope. Definitely. So the cool thing is that we can adjust our gain here on our vocals and our guitar, and we can get this nice and balanced. For a destination, realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of man, or whatever that means. So that's really cool. This is going to be a platform that I think I'm going to use a lot for doing these sort of things when I'm just practicing, because I'll be able to hear what I'm sounding like and I'll be able to try different things and different techniques, different chords and variations on chords as I'm playing these songs. Let's listen to the chorusy bit here, and we'll do a little bit of basic mixing. I think I need a little bit more processing on these vocals. Let's go to the effects here, and we might even need like a reverb as well. Oh, this is more of a reverb. This is a plate reverb there. Maybe we need more of a whole reverb. Let's take a listen and play around with this Space Maker. And I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I trip at the top of my lungs, what's going on? Little pitchy dog. Maybe we could use some auto pitch. Maybe we'll play with that, because remember, BandLab does have auto pitch, an auto tune effect. I'm going to put a delay on here as well, because we've got the reverb. I actually want like a bit of a delay here. So let's use a multi-custom delay with extra options. We'll use this delay, and we'll use the time. Can you? I haven't used this one for a while. Feedback delay, low pass. All right, let's we'll turn it on and we'll play around with it and see what sounds good. Hey. Morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I drink to the top of my lungs. What? That's I got to play around with this time. What's going on? All right, yeah, we need more of a slap back, so we're going to bring the delay right down. And I say, hey. There we go. What's going on? So yeah, we need that slap. That resonant slap back kind of delay on there. What about the guitar? Does this need any work? Maybe we add a. Do we add a delay to that? Maybe not. We've got the chorus on there, don't we? Maybe the chorus actually would be better with a little bit more on it. Realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of. That's pretty good. What about some sort of stereo effect? See, now I'm getting fancy here. Is there a stereo? Oh, there's stereo wires. There you go. The stereo width plugin. This could be cool. We don't want it super duper wide. Let's start with a little bit less there, and hit play and take a listen. Or whatever that means. That's nice.
So I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head, and I'm feeling a little peculiar.
Nice. Vocals just need to come up a little smidge there as well. So, yeah, you can see it's really easy to get yourself a nice kind of sound going on here in BandLab and mix together something really, really simply and really easily. Let's give me pitch a little bit of help here with some auto pitch. And there's videos here on the channel, by the way, about all this BandLab stuff, about effects, about recording, about auto pitch, and a whole lot more. So let's solo this and see what it would be like with some T-Pain on here in these bits.
And I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I trip at the top of my lungs. What's going on?
Fantastic. So we probably would, if we put it into E major, it is going to give it a little bit more help because it'll hit the right notes more likely.
And I take a deep breath and I get real high and I trip at the top of my lungs. What's going on?
Sort of. But no, we don't want that much. So we'll put it back to just the regular all notes option here, and we'll make it super light. Like we're talking like, no, maybe let's go 10%, just so that we can hear it a little bit, just for these bits here.
And I say, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey.
And the reason you can hear the guitar in the background there is, of course, you get some bleed through. And I'm not really doing a great effort of trying to reduce the mic bleed on this one. Plus, you're playing the same thing, so it really doesn't matter. So if we listen to that now with the guitar back in there.
And I say, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on?
What is going on, Four Non Blondes? Very cool stuff. I dig it. Big breath there. So yeah, I dig that. So again, just to recap on that one, to record multi, and look, you can record these individually. Obviously, you could play the guitar part, and then you can record it. So if you've only got a one-channel interface, don't fret too much. But if, like me, sometimes when you're writing songs or when you're getting started with songs, you like to just record in a guitar and a vocal. Same deal if you had a keyboard. You could plug a keyboard into one and do keyboard and vocal. You can even do MIDI. Now, I haven't tried this in BandLab, whether you can do MIDI and vocals at the same time for multi-track. I'd have to imagine you could. I don't have my MIDI keyboard handy. Maybe we'll try that. If you've tried that, if you know more about this stuff than I do, drop your comments down below, because I'm always happy and willing to learn more when it comes to this stuff. So huge thank you to BandLab for sponsoring the show. We're going to save this one out here now, and yeah, we'll come back and play around with that. But there you go, little hint, a little tip, a little insight inside what I do when it comes to my cover songs and what I do on the happy hour each week. And don't forget to tune into the happy hour for that and many other 90s classic tunes, or if you're in the future, check out the replay of that one. We're coming towards the end of the show here. Now, normally we'd ask questions and I'd answer any of your questions and we do some Q&A. You're not here. So what I'll say to you is, if you're watching this in the premiere, or even if you're watching on the replay, drop your comments. If you've got questions, if you've got comments, if you've got things that you want to contribute, just drop them in the comments section of the video, or if you're here in the premiere, in the live chat, because I'm going to ramble and rant for about another 2 minutes, and then we're going to close out the show. And again, if you're watching the live premiere, we've probably got Fix My Mix with Mike coming up next over on Creative Source. And if we don't, go over to Creative Source anyway, because it is a cool channel, and Mike is a cool guy. I see I can say that even though it's not the day, it's in the future. So thank you everyone for hanging out here today. As we mentioned before, do check the description for all the links to places like Facebook. So you can check out the Create, Record, Release group over on Facebook. You can check out the relatively new Discord server and laugh at Pete's inability to use Discord, as well as the kids. And I'll just be in there shouting at clouds, yelling at clouds, doing my thing. Try not to join a stream team this week if you can avoid it. You know what? Do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy. But if having all of your music taken down from Spotify and getting a nasty email from Discord saying, yeah, you're not allowed to release anymore, from DistroKid or your distributor, if that's not the kind of thing that floats your boat, yeah, you may want to avoid that. So keep an eye on that. Mac versus iOS, again, you do you. Use what works for you, because it's going to be different for everybody, and it really depends on your workflow and how you create as to what's going to be better for you to use. So keep that in mind as well. And cover songs, play them. They're cool. They teach you a lot about chord structures. And again, using Ultimate Guitar is cool because it won't. One thing I didn't mention before is because it's user generated content, won't always be spot on. And that's the thing. When I talked about my sort of chord charts that I have here, if I find in here that I wanted to use like an A sustained there or an A7 or something a bit different, I'll just change it. I'll change it to whatever I think is good. So I just come in here and go, actually, that A is cooler when it's an A7 leading into that E. Probably not, but you can change it. Sometimes the chords are completely wrong and you'll change it. Again, and because you've got those various versions, you can play around. You can mix and match and try a different version because you might find a version that has a better rendition or a better arrangement. Because remember, some of these songs are not acoustic guitar songs. Some songs are played on completely different. I'm going to try a Massive Attack song on the weekend, I think. That's going to be a challenge, playing it on acoustic guitar. But it's a challenge that I would like to check out. Once again, thank you to BandLab for sponsoring the show. Do check them out there. You can sign up for free, and you can follow me over on BandLab. You can also join me on Patreon if you want to support. We accept all donations as well via PayPal or via the Super Chat or the super stickers and all the other things here on the show. And of course, we've got other shows here on the channel, such as Your Music Live, The Happy Hour, and GarageBand Weekly. So just stay tuned to stay up to date on all of that. StudioLiveToday.com. Join the newsletter, and you'll be informed. You'll know before I do what's going on. Maybe not that early. All right, thanks for being here, everyone. As we say each week, please be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other, keep creating, and I'll see you next time here on Studio Live, today's Creator Town Hall. Bye, everybody. Get your lighters out. I'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.